Hello and welcome to English with Justino, videos designed for you to learn English vocabulary, expressions, culture, and maybe even some grammar along the way. This video is for those already speaking English at an intermediate or advanced level. The idea here is to listen, read, and learn from a native English speaker in a natural way, the way you first learned your native language, by hearing it. Okay, forward we go. Enjoy! That was a narrow escape, said Alice, a good deal frightened at the sudden change, but very glad to find herself still alive. And now for the garden. And she ran with all her speed back to the little door, but alas, the little door was shut again, and the little golden key was lying on the glass table as before. All things are worse than ever, thought Alice. I was never this small before, never. What happened to Alice now? Alice had gone after the white rabbit, but he ran off, and then she shrank back down again. Alice was small enough to enter the garden. Did Alice go through the garden door? No. Alice thought she would go through the door, but when she arrived, the door was shut, and the key was back on the table, and she's too small to get it. Did Alice grab the key? No. Alice was small again, and now she could not reach the key. As she said these words, her foot slipped, and in another moment, splash! She was up to her chin in salt water. Her first idea was that she had somehow fallen into the sea. However, she soon understood that she was in a pool of tears that she made crying while she was 9 feet tall. What happened to Alice now? Alice slipped and fell into a pool of salt water. Did Alice think she was in the sea? Yes, there was so much water Alice thought she was in the sea. Where did the water come from? Did the water leak through the wall? No. The water was Alice's tears. Alice cried so much that she created a large pool of water, and now she had fallen into it. I wish I hadn't cried so much, said Alice as she swam about, trying to find her way out. I shall be punished for it now, I suppose, by being drowned in my own tears. Was Alice still swimming and thinking how lucky she was to be in a pool of her own tears? No. Alice was worried now she might drown in her own tears. Just then, she heard something splashing about in the pool a little way off, and she swam close to make out what it was. At first she thought it must be a walrus or a hippopotamus, but then she remembered how small she was now, and she soon saw that it was only a mouse that had fallen in like herself. What did Alice hear? Alice heard something splashing around in the pool. What did Alice think it was? Alice thought it was some kind of large animal like a walrus or a hippopotamus, and then she remembered she was very small again, and this was not possible. What kind of animal was splashing in the pool? Was it a cow? No. Cows are very large also. Alice saw that it was only a mouse. Alice was swimming in a pool of her own tears, and she was the same size as a small mouse. Would it be useful now, thought Alice, to speak to this mouse? Everything is so strange here. I'm thinking right now I could talk to a mouse while swimming in a pool of tears. Very strange indeed. She tried anyway. Oh, mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? I'm very tired of swimming here. The mouse looked at her rather inquisitively and seemed to wink at her with one of its little eyes, but it said nothing. Who was Alice trying to talk to? Alice was trying to talk to a mouse while she was swimming with the mouse in her own pool of tears. When Alice talked to the mouse, what happened? Did the mouse answer her back? No, the mouse did not answer Alice, but it looked at her inquisitively, or with questions, and seemed to wink at her. Perhaps it doesn't understand English, thought Alice. Maybe it's a Spanish mouse. So she said, ¿Dónde está mi gato? Which she learned in Spanish class. The mouse suddenly leapt out of the water, shaking all over with fear. Oh, I beg your pardon, cried Alice hastily, afraid that she had hurt the poor animal's feelings. I forgot you might not like cats. Did Alice ask the mouse where her cat is in Spanish? Yes. Alice thought that maybe the mouse spoke Spanish, since he didn't answer her. Did he understand Spanish? Yes. The mouse jumped out of the water when Alice asked her about her cat in Spanish. Not like cats, cried the mouse in a shrill, passionate voice. Would you like cats if you were me? Well, maybe not, said Alice in a soothing tone. Don't be angry with me. I wish I could show you my cat Dinah. I think you would like cats if you could only see her. She's such a sweet, quiet thing. Alice went on half to herself. as she swam lazily about in the pool. And she sits purring so nicely by the fire, licking her paws and washing her face. She's great at catching mice. Oh, I beg your pardon, cried Alice again. This time the mouse was shaking all over, and Alice was certain the mouse must be offended. We won't talk about Din anymore. I'm sorry. Who was Alice talking to? Alice was talking to a scared mouse that was afraid of Alice's cat Dinah. Did the mouse know Dinah? No, but it seemed like this mouse is afraid of mice in general, because when Alice mentioned the cat, it got all scared. Was Alice thinking and talking about her cat Dinah? Yes, Alice was thinking about her cat and talking to the mouse as she swam around in the pool of her own tears that she had made when she was really big, and she was crying because she was stuck in this crazy story. What did Alice promise to the mouse? Alice promised to the mouse that she would not talk about her cat Dinah because the mouse was afraid of cats. We indeed, cried the mouse, who was trembling down to the end of his tail. As if I would talk about cats. Our family always hated cats. Nasty, vulgar things. Don't let me hear the name again. I won't, said Alice, in a great hurry to change the subject of conversation. Do you like dogs? The mouse did not answer, so Alice went on. There's such a nice little dog near my house. I'd like to show you. But the mouse was swimming away from her as hard as it could go, and making quite a commotion in the pool as it went. Was Alice sitting in a pool of her own tears, talking to a scared mouse about her cat Dinah? Yes. What a strange thing to happen. Was the mouse interested in a dog that Alice tries to bring up? No. The mouse didn't seem to want to talk about the dog either. The mouse swam away from Alice and her conversation as fast as it could go. So she called after it, Mouse, my dear, please come back again. And we won't talk about cats or dogs either, I promise. When the mouse heard this, it turned around and swam slowly back to her. Its face was very pale, and it said in a low, trembling voice, Let us get to the shore, and then I'll show you and tell you why I hate cats and dogs. It was time to go. The pool was getting crowded with birds and other animals that had fallen into it as well. There was a horse, a duck, a turkey, a parrot, and several other curious creatures in the pool of tears with them. Alice led the way, and the whole party swam to the shore. Did Alice and the mouse come to an agreement? Yes. Alice and the mouse decided, mostly because the mouse made a statement that they should swim to the shore of the pool of tears and talk about why the mouse hates cats and dogs. Was it time to go now? Yes. The pool was getting crowded with other animals. What other animals were there now? A horse, a duck, a turkey, and a parrot. Okay, what a crazy story this is. And now the summary of Chapter 2, or the end of Chapter 2 in the present tense. Alice shrinks down again after being huge and then slips and falls into a pool. The pool was a pool of tears that she had made when she was really big. Now she is small. So small that she can swim in the pool. Alice starts talking to a mouse that she first thought was a big animal until she realizes that she is tiny, like a mouse. She talks to the mouse about her cat Dinah, and the mouse is very scared and swims away from Alice, even when she changes the subject to talk about dogs. Alice is sitting in a pool of tears, talking to a mouse, and when they finally decide to leave the pool, it's full of other animals, and it's time to get out. Past tense. Alice shrank down after being huge and then slipped and fell into a pool. The pool was a pool of tears that she had made when she was really big. She was small, so small that she could swim in the pool. Alice started talking to a mouse that she first thought was a big animal until she realized that she was tiny like a mouse. She talked to the mouse about her cat Dinah, and the mouse was very scared and swam away from Alice, even when she changed the subject to talk about dogs. Alice was sitting in a pool of tears talking to a mouse, and when they finally decided to leave the pool, it was full of other animals. The future. Alice will shrink down after being huge, and then will slip and fall into a pool. The pool will be a pool of tears that she will make when she is really big. She will then be small, so small that she will swim in the pool. Alice will start talking to a mouse that she will first think will be a big animal, and then she will realize that she will be tiny like a mouse. She will talk to the mouse about her cat Dinah, and the mouse will be very scared and swim away from Alice. She will talk to the mouse about her cat Dinah, and the mouse will be very scared and swim away from Alice, even when she will change the subject to talk about dogs. Alice will be sitting in a pool of tears, and will be talking to a mouse, and they will finally decide to leave the pool because it is full of other animals.